इतना अच्छा बैकग्राउंड है तो तभी आरबीआई में सिलेक्ट हो गए, राइट? तो डू यू थिंक दैट योर बैकग्राउंड मैटर्स आरबीआई में सिलेक्ट होने के लिए? दैट व्हाट क्वालिफिकेशन डू यू हैव? ऐसा क्या था जो लगता है कि यार ये प्रॉब्लम्स ना होती तो थोड़ा जल्दी कर लेती या थिंग्स लाइक दैट? कुछ आपसे लाइक यू नो ऐसा क्वेश्चंस पूछा जैसे यूजुअली स्टूडेंट से पूछते हैं दैट व्हाई डू यू वांट टू जॉइन आरबीआई? हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू EduTap. Today I have with me a new RBI Grade B officer, Miss Anudeep Nain. Welcome, Miss Anudeep.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
So before we move on to this toppers talk, I'd like to give you a brief introduction about Miss Anudeep. She has been selected as AAO through the SSC CGL examination of the year 2019. She got her joining in the year 2021, but now in 2022, she is RBI Grade B officer. Also, I'd like to tell you one very interesting thing about her. She has won Director's Gold Medal in her Masters in Mathematics.
Yes.
So I think a lot of interesting things about her to know. So let's know about her from her own.
Okay, so I'm Anudeep Nain. I'm from Sonipat, Haryana. I have done all my schooling from Sonipat itself. After that, for my graduation, I joined Hansraj College, University of Delhi. There I did maths honors. Thereafter, I moved to IIT Bhubaneswar for my masters. There I was the Director's Gold Medalist. And after that, I've done my PhD in mathematics from Rajasthan.
So guys, you have seen her background. I was actually, we were talking that she has, I would say, a very good background, academic background and very good credentials. She has not only done bachelor's and master's, but she's also done PhD in mathematics. So I would like to congratulate you for all your academic background and then for being selected as RBI Grade B
Thank
officer.
you, ma'am.
So, just to on a lighter note, I want to know, as I was asking you earlier also, अभी इंटरव्यू स्टार्ट होने से पहले क्या होगा ना, पीपल विल बी लाइक इतना अच्छा बैकग्राउंड है तो तभी आरबीआई में सिलेक्ट हो गए, राइट? तो डू यू थिंक दैट योर बैकग्राउंड मैटर्स आरबीआई में सिलेक्ट होने के लिए? दैट व्हाट क्वालिफिकेशन डू यू हैव?
I don't think so. I don't think that the background matters that much because the syllabus is very specific and the requirements of this exam are very specific in nature. So if you are able to understand what they require, then you will be able to get through irrespective of your background.
So I think that is quite humble of her to say that. Plus we know, guys, that hard work is required. So a person with such a good academic background has obviously been hardworking. There is no doubt in that, right? No iota of doubt in that. So how did this RBI happen? You were doing, as you said, you have also qualified GATE, NET and PhD you have also done.
Yes,
so how did this RBI come to your mind?
For this, I will need to give a brief introduction of my family. Since both my parents are in education background, they wanted me to have a proper backup plan in case I appeared for competitive exams. So that's why after my masters, I gave NET, I gave GATE, and I started doing my PhD. While doing my PhD, I started appearing for both UPSC and RBI.
Okay.
So in 2019, it was my first attempt at RBI. There, I just wanted to get a lay of the land, what the exam is all about. While doing my PhD, I came across some friends who were preparing for RBI. That's when I got to know about this great job, this great organization. Otherwise, while doing my graduation and post-graduation, I did not have any idea about this exam. So through my friends, I got to know about the job.
So in 2019, you took this exam. You just wanted to know the pattern and everything, how this exam is. 2021 you appeared.
Yes, ma'am.
And a very interesting story you have shared with me. So 2021 exam, Miss Anudeep appeared after like 10 to 15 days after your marriage.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So see, this is a story we have today that you were telling me about the story of your center, right? Can you please share with our students also?
While preparing for the exam, the notification came in around January, February. By then, all the wedding planning had been done already. So when I got to know that the exam is on 6th March, I realized that I will be in Trivandrum at that time, so far away from home. So while filling up the form, I filled Trivandrum as my center. So while on my honeymoon, you can say, I gave the exam there only.
So I think this is what we call as dedication. So she actually appeared in the examination. She chose the center, which she thought, I would say this tells us that how well you have planned things actually. So she appeared in the examination. She cracked phase 1. You appeared in phase 2 at that time also.
Yes, ma'am.
But you could not then clear phase 2, right? And now this is her third attempt wherein she is now selected. And I'm really glad today to tell that she has been our student. She took the EduTap Gold course for
course,
RBI
yes,
Grade B. So we are really happy to have you today again here.
Thank you.
So, thoda sa, before we start on directly to the preparation strategy that you took for phase 1, phase 2, tell us something about your preparation, that these were the problems I faced as a student, although you were preparing for UPSC also, you
Yes,
said,
ma'am.
and you are already good in quant and reasoning because of your educational
Yes,
background,
ma'am.
but still there might be few things that would have bothered you. तो ऐसा क्या था जो लगता है कि यार ये problems ना होती तो थोड़ा जल्दी कर लेती या things like that?
Ma'am, in all my 3 attempts, after giving phase 1, I waited for the result of phase 1. So those 7 to 10 days that I wasted in all my 3 attempts, I would advise everyone to please not waste those 10 days. Even if you are studying during that time, consider that you are selected and study and prepare for the next phase. Because if not, then those days are gone. Then those days are lost, and just 20 days will be left for phase 2. So that was one of the problems I faced, and I would recommend everyone to please not to do so. Secondly, FM. While preparing for FM, management was quite a new portion for me because I'd never studied management in any form during my academics. So while preparing for that, it was a challenge. But the videos I watched on EduTap channel, they helped me quite a lot.
So I think FM is a kind of subject which is new to a lot of students,
Yes,
especially who have never studied it, right? And the first thing is actually a highlight, I would say. Even today, I'm sure people after taking the exam, they are usually waiting that result aayega, tabhi we will be able to start.
Yes.
So that is an important thing, guys. You should note this down. You said a very beautiful line that consider you are selected, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So start your preparation right away after your phase 1, है ना? And what about your interview then? Because after phase 1 you started your preparation, कुछ wait करके, but after phase 2 did you like again wait कि चलो let's see what would be my result, or you were confident and started your preparation for interview?
For the basic things like reading the newspaper consistently and regularly, those things I did continue. I did not stop after phase 2, so that I was in touch with the current happenings. And if I got selected in phase 2, I won't have wasted much time. So, and after the result came, my interview was in the very beginning of the sessions. So it was just third day of the interview. So I was quite relieved कि everything will be done quite जल्दी.
ठीक है, तो थोड़ा सा आपका इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस के बारे में पहले बात कर लेते हैं, that how were the questions, what questions were asked, and how was your overall experience interview? Because we usually have a notion कि RBI का इंटरव्यू देने जा रहे हैं, probably these type of questions would be asked. तो कैसा था वो आपका एक्सपीरियंस?
Ma'am, while preparing for my interview, 2 things I focused on. First was the biodata form they asked us to fill, because that form is very important, because this is what the interview panel has in their hand. So I went through my biodata very thoroughly and framed hundreds of questions on that. Every aspect, every word I had written there, I framed questions on that, and I practiced those questions with my husband and with my family members quite a few number of times.
पहला चीज most important was framing questions on your biodata.
Yes, ma'am.
Apart from that, few technical questions जो आप बता रहे थे.
The second portion which I focused on while preparing was the technical part. In the technical part, phase 2 preparation helps a lot because you have already prepared all the economics and management questions, which are the probable questions in the interview. One more thing I focused on was I read all the available transcripts on the Telegram channels or interviews I watched on YouTube, so that I get to know what the interview panel is looking for in the candidate. So those those transcripts helped me a lot.
So that is also recommended to the students. आपको एक idea, you get a fair idea that what type of questions are being asked. And do you think that those type of questions were asked again to you?
Yes, ma'am. In the actual interview, approximately 90% of my interview was biodata based. Technical questions were very few, and there were 7 members in the panel, and everyone asked questions related to my biodata only. In fact, maths questions related to mathematics, scientists, mathematicians, those questions were asked. It was.
I am actually eager to know the questions. Can you share if you can recall कुछ ऐसे questions?
Ma'am, one question I recall was about the Ramanujan number. It was what is the Ramanujan number and what is its significance for Indian mathematics? So one question was that with respect to mathematics. Then secondly, questions related to data science were there.
Okay.
And game theory. Game theory questions were also asked. Chairman sir, in fact, asked me questions related to game theory.
So basically, interview is usually about your own profile. So it's better that you prepare your biodata thoroughly to
Yes,
all the students. And the exercise of framing questions, I think, is quite a recommended one.
Yes, ma'am.
Now that you are saying, so I am thinking that students will take it now seriously. That we should also frame questions. Or Anudeep, did you also take mock interviews as a preparation?
Yes, ma'am. I did take mock interview with EduTap only. It also helped me a lot because they told me to focus on certain aspects, like what part of the RBI website I should focus on, and what technical questions I should focus on, so that I'm able to perform well, and that was very helpful for me.
Right. So mock interviews, usually I think interview preparation is about biodata, taking like being abreast with the current issues going on. The newspaper reading you have suggested.
Yes, ma'am.
And going through RBI website.
Yes, ma'am.
And mock interview. So do you think largely these things, if one prepares on, then interview will be easy to handle?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, RBI website is quite important because the technical question that they asked me were almost all of the questions were from the website only. So financial inclusion and very basic general questions, nothing too technical that one won't be able to answer. And the panel was very cordial. If I was stuck on a question, they gave me the answer they helped me get to the answer. So it was very helpful.
That is a good thing to know actually. Acha, one thing out of curiosity I have in mind, कुछ आपसे like you know ऐसा questions पूछा जैसे usually students से पूछते हैं that why do you want to join RBI या फिर why do you want to switch career, कुछ ऐसा?
Yes, ma'am. One question they did ask was why RBI after PhD. But in the biodata form, they had already seen that this is my 3rd attempt. So I'm quite serious about RBI, and this is my passion. So they were very convinced with my answer then.
And what answer did you give?
Ma'am, that's what I pointed out, that this is my 3rd attempt. So I am quite serious, and last time also I gave the phase 2 also. So they were convinced with that.
So I think it is more of a personalized experience,
yes.
है ना? So but you can prepare the things that you know now. Ma'am has also pointed to उन पे ध्यान रखो, and that will be a good start for your interview. So although we discussed interview पहले, that is the last stage. लेकिन apart from that, जैसे like on the strategy when we come to phase 1 and phase 2. So before we move on to the strategy of phase 1 and phase 2, I'd like to ask few questions to you since you have been the student of EduTap also. So Anudeep, which one was your favorite subject out of all the subjects?
Ma'am, for me, the management subject, the videos I watched on management topic, those were very helpful for me, and I really enjoyed preparing from there.
Management,
yes.
Okay. And any subject you thought was like, you know, difficult or you did not like much?
No such subject, but just the interview preparation was a bit dicey for me. Otherwise, all the subjects were quite good.
Okay, and I am assuming that in phase 1, your favorite subject would have been quant and reasoning.
Yes, ma'am, it was. And here I would like to mention one thing. While preparing for phase 1 and phase 2 both, I refer to the YouTube videos that were uploaded by EduTap. There was a marathon series for current affairs of previous months. So that helped me a lot in revising everything that I had learned in the previous 6 months.
Really glad to know that. I'll share that with my team. ठीक है. So on that note, let's move on to the strategy of phase 1. So how did you plan the preparation that these are the subjects, like, you know, this is the duration I'll give to this subject, या फिर did you pick up all the subjects together, like quant reasoning GA साथ में, या फिर day wise divide किया था?
Okay. Ma'am, I used to devote about 2 hours daily to quant reasoning and English. I would do as much questions as possible, mock tests, as much mock tests as possible, because that helped me get into the zone for exam. So that was that was for the quant reasoning and English section. Then for GA portion, I read all the magazines of EduTap only, and then there are some mock tests for that. There are
Sectional tests, like for
sectional
each
tests,
quiz.
yes ma'am. Month wise they are there, and even week wise they are also there. So I would attempt those tests. When the material is in question form, then it's very easy to remember that. So when I attempted those questions, it helped me retain things. So for current affairs, it was very useful.
So what I can understand is, like, taking mock tests helped you a lot.
Yes ma'am.
QRE हो या फिर even GA, when you did the question, so it remains in your mind somewhere. So you took a lot of mock tests. You mentioned that to me earlier as
Yes
well.
ma'am. Every mock test that was there on the portal of EduTap, I did take that.
So that is, I would say, Anudeep, really appreciable. I would like to tell you, because जितने भी हमारे students हैं ना, we tell them please take all the mock tests. आपको weekly है, monthly है, but students are like बहुत ज़्यादा questions हैं. But I am glad to know that you took all the mock tests, all the quizzes, sectional, monthly, weekly, that actually helped you also.
And yes ma'am, it did.
तो like QRE में तो you were doing on a daily basis, है
Yes
ना?
ma'am.
And for GA, how many months of current affairs you prepared?
Ma'am, for GA, I prepared 6 months current affair.
ठीक है.
I did not have much time, otherwise I would have liked to cover 9 months. But 6 months I prepared thoroughly.
इस पे ना I'll like to elaborate that for GA, what I understand is you refer to the magazines that were given in the course for previous 6 months.
Yes, ma'am.
फिर you took all the quizzes.
Yes ma'am,
And then revision was done through the YouTube sessions.
Yes ma'am.
So these 3 things actually helped you.
Yes ma'am, it
ठीक है. तो I think guys note this down, because people usually have this doubt in mind कि पढ़ लिया, how do I revise? Revise कर लिया, अभी video देखूं कि नहीं? तो a sync I think you made. And did you also make your own notes out of these things?
no ma'am, for current affairs I did not. I was reading newspaper daily, regularly, on a regular basis. So along with the newspaper and the magazine and the questions given, it was enough.
Okay. तो ठीक है, I think that answers a lot of your questions, guys, because current affairs becomes a pain point for students usually, कि बहुत ज़्यादा है cover करने में लिए. तो this strategy आपको, although everyone has their own strategy, but when someone who has got selected through this strategy, you might think that, you know, मुझे भी ऐसा करना चाहिए. आप देख सकते हैं. ठीक है. तो इसके अलावा anything specifically you'd like to tell us about phase 1? कुछ like how to practice, या कुछ भी जो आपको लग रहा हो before we move on to next phase?
Yes ma'am, this time round, when the phase 1 exam was over, people were very worried about their quant section. Even though cutoff is just 4 marks or 5 marks for the quant section, still people are a bit worried. So for that, please do attempt mock test so that you get how much time you take to solve a question, and how better you can perform. So please try to solve as many questions as possible for quant.
So for quant this is so,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
I think even some people are not good in reasoning also, तो हो सकता है. But did you also take full length test or complete comparison of
Yes
200
ma'am, I did
questions?
full length test with GA.
Complete.
Yes, ma'am.
How many tests do you think you would have taken?
Ma'am, all the 10 tests.
अच्छा, which were there?
Yes ma'am.
Good. ठीक है. तो you have been a good student. ठीक है. And now let's move on to the phase 2 preparation. So after the phase 1 was done,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
said कि initially you did not start the preparation. But for FM, especially, did you prepare beforehand? पहले से करके रखा हुआ था?
Yes
prepare?
ma'am. Before phase 1, about 2 to 3 months back, I had done all the preparation for FM at least. I had made all my notes, and I used to revise once in a week or so. Even before the phase 1 was announced or the date was there. So after phase 1 was over, I was not confident enough about my result. So I wasted those 7 days in apprehension. What would happen? Will I clear or not? But then I was able to clear. So I went back to the mode and I started revising those notes of FM
you had prepared.
that I had
ठीक
prepared.
है, and those were prepared from the course itself.
Yes, ma'am.
जो videos course
Yes,
में
ma'am.
हैं, ठीक है. And what about the descriptive writing practice? What would you suggest? मतलब उसमें I'll tell you the doubt that we usually get. Students feel that I'm not good in typing.
Yes.
So what if I'm not able to match the typing speed? Or another problem is that while typing, if I'm thinking of the answers, I forget. तो ऐसी problems आपको भी face हुई थी?
Yes, ma'am. During my last attempt, I was not able to complete the paper because my typing speed was a little slow. So that was a big setback for me. That I used to think that my typing speed is well enough, but still I was not able to complete the paper. Content and the speed both are very important. So focus at least while you are preparing. Try writing questions on a laptop or a keyboard only, so that you get the idea how much time it will take you.
तो beforehand practice is anyhow required.
Yes, ma'am.
ऐसा नहीं है that you think कि चलो I'll see later to it. ठीक है. And what about the ESI paper? How did you prepare that? Although it is majorly about current affairs, but still, what was your strategy for that?
Ma'am, for ESI exam, I had a brief background because of my UPSC preparation. So in that subject, I did not struggle much. But when you look at the question paper, it's quite difficult and no one can expect what they are going to ask. This time, it was all about government schemes. So government schemes are to be focused on quite, you have to prepare comprehensively the schemes. So while preparing for ESI, I used to study from my UPSC notes, but then I would go back to the EduTap portal and attempt questions from there, both objective and subjective, so that I am able to practice typing as well.
So basically, point is that whatever you read, revision is important and practicing that
Yes,
through quiz or test of descriptive is important. ठीक है.
Ma'am, one more thing here. I used to have the syllabus open on one tab. Because last time I attempted the phase 2, I knew questions are quite direct for descriptive paper. So in one tab, I used to have RBI notification में the syllabus that is given as open, so that I would refer it again and again and see what portion I have covered and what portion I have missed, so that I'm able to comprehensively cover all the syllabus.
Right. So guys, this is actually very important that keeping syllabus handy,
Yes,
keeping even previous year questions handy.
Yes,
These are the two things that will give you the right direction. I think what you did.
Yes,
कि वापस अगर deviate हो रहे हो तो come back to the syllabus to check. ठीक है. तो ESI में objective, especially the objective questions, वो थोड़े ज़्यादा like you know what I know is people were really afraid objective देखने के बाद
yes,
that we don't know what is gonna happen. But how did you tackle at that time? Did you also feel कि क्या ये आ गया?
Yes, ma'am. This time I looked around. Everyone was in the same situation. Everyone was looking at screen like what is happening, because questions were very unexpected in nature. The framing of the questions was so that you were not able to understand what they are asking. No question was that deduce you can deduce the answer. Everything was to the point and question मतलब
थोड़े tricky or difficult जैसे
yes,
questions थे.
But I tried to solve only those questions first, which for which I was 100% confident. There were some questions regarding schemes only that were quite easy to solve, but that number was quite low. So after that, I tried solving all those questions also, in which I was there was a dicey situation. I was confused between two options. So I took a chance there. And that I was able to take the chance because I had attempted many questions earlier. So that taking chance, which option to choose in between those two was easy for me.
तो आई थिंक ये तो बहुत ही अच्छी चीज आपने बताई है दैट ये प्रैक्टिस ऑफ व्हेन यू डू प्रैक्टिस ऑफ क्वेश्चंस इट विल नॉट ओनली हेल्प यू टू रिवाइज बट यू विल बी एक्वेंटेड विद योर इंस्टिंक्ट वो स्ट्रांग हो जाता है ना कि ये लें कि नहीं लें. तो दैट एक्चुअली हैपेंड विद यू व्हिच इज अ गुड थिंग. प्रैक्टिस विल नेवर गो वेस्ट आई वुड से किसी भी चीज की हो तो ठीक है. फाइनली मुश्किल पेपर था लेकिन डन. एंड डिस्क्रिप्टिव इंग्लिश का भी थोड़ा सा इफ यू वांट टू गिव अस द हाइलाइट्स ऑफ योर प्रिपरेशन एंड then how was the paper?
Ma'am, descriptive English is one subject which many people ignore because they think it's just English I'll be able to do, but it's quite a scoring subject. When you look at the marks of previous toppers or people, then you realize that it is a very scoring subject. And the questions are not that difficult, you are able to attempt those with ample time. So focus on solving, writing paragraphs. Start with the paragraph, then move on to essay, so that you are able to attempt question in the exam properly. I used to write essay once a week or so. So that helped me. And the topics given in the paper are not that difficult that you won't be able to attempt it. They are quite general in nature, so it's easy to attempt.
So basically, if you have done a practice of the English descriptive paper beforehand,
Yes,
like you have written essays, and even I think your preparation of current affairs, ESI will also supplement essay writing also.
Exactly,
somewhere, right?
it does, ma'am.
So what all is needed for English is your practice, basically. ठीक है. तो अच्छा, one more thing. RBI has 3 papers on a single day.
Yes.
So how was when we took the interview? So people were like that day is very hectic itself.
Yes, ma'am.
3 papers back to back. So how was? क्योंकि उस दिन I want to know कि toppers like you ना, what do they feel at that time जब वो papers दे रहे होते हैं, लिख रहे होते हैं, उसके बाद भी?
Ma'am, it's very exhaustive. So before going for the first paper, I had black coffee so that I will be energized and I'll be able to write properly. And after coming out of the first paper, again I had black coffee so that I'll be energized, because it's very exhaustive. While you are 100% focused on the exam and you have to type a lot, you have to frame the questions, answers in your mind, and then you have to type. So it's very tiring for a person.
So the day itself. Right?
Yes.
But I think जब result आता होगा तो वो एक खुशी भी होगी ना कि ठीक है, it was worth it.
Yes, ma'am, it was.
तो I want to know जैसे what things throughout the preparation, we know that these are the things पढ़ना होता है, ऐसे पढ़ना होता है, but there are times when people feel low. I'm sure कहीं ना कहीं आपने किया होगा that I don't know, competition बहुत है, या फिर will I be able to do it? तो what did you do on such low moments जब आते हैं प्रिपरेशन के, तब क्या करते थे, या ऐसा क्या करना चाहिए so that the students do not lose direction? जो बच्चे प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं ना, हमारे पास जैसे हम बात करते हैं तो बच्चे आर लाइक कि बहुत ज़्यादा ऐसा लग रहा है नहीं होगा, shall I give up? तो आप क्या करते थे अगर ऐसा कभी होता था?
Ma'am, I don't think it will be helpful for everyone else or not, but I used to watch YouTube videos of toppers, previous year toppers. So it helped me give a proper direction कि चलो अभी you are down, अभी you are not able to concentrate and focus much, but there are people who have cleared and you can be one of them. So listen to their views, what they did. So try getting inspiration from them. So that's
I think this will help people. ये definitely another such a beautiful interview it has been. इतनी सारी चीजें हमने touch की हैं, तो I'm sure people will get inspiration from this also. तो और कुछ अनुदीप, anything that you want to share about this complete journey of yours? Because हमने preparation तो काफी discuss कर ली, but as a person who has seen the failure in the examination, then worked on it, फिर now successful in the same examination, कुछ भी जो आपके मन में आप share करना चाहते हो?
Ma'am, one thing that whenever if phase 1 is there, we feel phase 1 is the most difficult part of this exam. Then phase 2 comes around and then we feel this is the most, no, phase 1 was okay, now this is the most difficult. Then interview comes, each stage of the exam feels like the most difficult at that point of time, but when you are through it and when you get the result as a positive result, it feels that it was worth it, everything was worth it. So try to maintain that consistency because that's very important.
So consistency is the key. That is what you take today from this interview, apart from all the beautiful advices, suggestions that you have got to know. So I am again very thankful to you for coming here, sharing your strategy, and guys, please let us know your comments. कैसा लगा ये video आपको, and do congratulate Miss Anudeep from the EduTap family.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and we will catch up soon again.
Thank you.
Okay.